Scooby-Doo.
We don't have the bell. Classic.
Listen, one day we'll get everything. And we'll remember it all. Not good? No.
It's just... Oh, I was going to say, we should do a thing to figure out how this thing works, and then you look underneath it, and
pretty
it's
self-explanatory,
self-explanatory.
I've gone through that process myself.
You looked at it, you're like, ooh,
yeah. I'm like, how does it work?
How it do?
Oh.
Yeah. Good morning, everybody. I'm going to go ahead and let Anne-Marie do the rest.
Hi. I was not mentally prepared for that one, so okay, welcome to our podcast, Half Awake, Fully Caffeinated, where we are half awake and getting fully caffeinated. Today we are drinking in Mexico because we just got it back in after a month.
Not just a Mexico, it's...
Our Mexico from E Cafe of Chiapas.
Thank you, Patricia.
Woo, woo, woo.
I don't even know if she's listening to our podcast.
Probably, yes. Our podcast is huge.
It's massive.
We have a large, overreaching audience.
Of dozens of people.
Dozens and dozens.
Probably just a few dozen, actually.
Maybe.
Maybe a single dozen.
Maybe. Anywho, thank you. Welcome to our podcast. We have 4 questions, 2 coffee questions, 2 non-coffee questions. My non-coffee question was breathing and lifespan. What'd it do?
What'd it do?
And what is your non-coffee question?
My non-coffee question was my favorite president.
Yeah.
And, why?
And then my coffee question is, what is the benefit of volcanic soil for coffee?
Yeah.
There we go.
My coffee question was, what are the uses of coffee in all its shapes and forms? Let's think here. Also, this is Anne-Marie. I'm Eugene. We didn't do our names.
Oh, my bad. I'm Eugene. This is Anne-Marie.
This is Anne-Marie. This is Anne-Marie Eugene.
Nailed it.
Nailed it. I've been going first a lot lately.
Yeah, you have. Do you want me to go first?
No, it's okay. I'm gonna do Teddy Roosevelt because I'm gonna do my president.
Okay. Thank y'all.
Actually, I'm gonna make y'all wait. I'm gonna do my coffee one first because I like Teddy Roosevelt and I think it's exciting and it's fun. So we're gonna get there later.
Teddy Rose.
Coffee in all its shapes and forms, and a timer. You wanna do it? You wanna do it? You wanna do it? You wanna do it? You wanna do it?
I'm doing it.
Okay.
Do you guys do you see what I have to deal with? Do you see what I have
It's really
to deal
not
with?
that bad.
You wanna do it? You wanna do it? You wanna do it? You wanna do it? You're like a
I like mine better. I like mine a lot
well,
better.
that's the first time that that's ever happened, so that's okay. Okay, go.
Okay, coffee and what it do in all its shapes and forms. I'm gonna go ahead and start with grounds, coffee grounds, because this one I think has been done a lot, and so a lot of people can, it's just easily accessible. Grounds. First one, compost / fertilizer. You can take coffee grounds, you can put it in your compost. It adds a lot of beautiful nutrients for your plants. And then along with that, it actually acts as a natural pesticide.
I was gonna say, doesn't it repel like slugs or
It
snails?
repels slugs, ants, and all that kind of stuff because caffeine is technically a poison. Very interesting. And then along with that, you can use coffee grounds as an exfoliant. You just exfoliate your skin, get all those gunky things out of your pores. And then I do know that there are some stuff that is being done with coffee grounds to create bioplastics. That one is a little bit of a deeper subject, and I think that we will discuss those later in the future. Moving on, we have the coffee cherry, the actual the meat, the fruit.
The meat,
the fruit around the cherry.
Okay.
So there's a few things. Obviously, one, you can still eat the cherry. People can take the cherry and create wine out of it. They can create jellies. They can create syrups. And so those are some of the things that they can do with the flesh of the coffee, the coffee cherry. And then along with that, Compost. Again, you can compost it. You can use it as a fertilizer. And then we also have the silver skin. The silver skin is that like parchmenty, like
chaffy.
No, we're not gonna talk about chaff yet. Silver skin is like
It's the pre-chaff.
It's removed before the chaff.
Oh yeah.
It's kind of like I don't know how to put it. It's a very light outer layer, and it has been used as a food additive because it has lots of fiber. So if you eat the silver skin, it helps your poop.
Is silver skin? So I always say it's like the skin in pistachios. But is that more like chaff, or is that more like silver skin?
It's similar anatomy.
Okay.
Like if you take off a pistachio, but the stuff that's on the pistachio is
the like papery stuff.
It's a little papery, but it's kind of like a bunch of layers all like mushed in together as a single layer. So it's like it has the pistachio mucilage and like the skin, and then there's something underneath it too, like another additional layer. Okay. It's like how with our skin we have our dermis and then our epidermis. But silver skin is also another thing that people are using to create bioplastics. More bioplastics coming from coffee silver skin. Obviously, looking into how much sustainable things you can do with coffee is a big piece of that, and the plastics industry is definitely leaning on coffee a little bit more. Now, chaff. So chaff, again, another really good, what's it called? Another really good compost.
Byproduct?
Yeah.
Oh,
another compost thing, another thing that you can put in your garden. It's good for carbon in a nitrogen-rich environment, if that was something you weren't aware of, which nitrogen is the most abundant resource or element in the world. But
in the United
carbon
world.
Comes from chaff, and you can also use chaff as, this is really cool. I saw it on my friend Quint, who I met at Onyx Coffee. If you're listening, Quint, shout out to you. It is also used as a fire starter. Like you can compress it into like a block, and then you can like take it and use it as a fire starter.
That is, I love that information actually.
It's really cool actually.
And it makes sense because it catches fire.
It can catch fire, but it's like there's this company, I didn't see the name unfortunately, so maybe we'll shout you out in the comments below. Really awesome design, but they just have this little block, like small blocks of condensed chaff that you can just light on fire and it starts fires for you. So if you're not a hardcore survivalist, which I like to think I am, but I'm not. I'm definitely not. I'm the guy that walks around and like finds all the dead bushes in the desert. It's like, oh, well, this is easy to light on fire. Yeah. And it's like, well, yeah, it's a desert. But if you're in the middle of the fucking woods in like Northwest Oregon or something like that.
Pull out your chaff.
Just get chaff. Starting fire with wet wood is not easy. So chaff it up.
That's...
Chaff stick.
We're starting a new company, guys.
It's called Chaff Stick.
It's called Chaff Stick.
It's not a new company. It's going to be an add-on.
It's an add-on.
Add-on business. Okay. All right. Well, yeah, that's it.
Okay.
Any questions?
No.
Good. Go on.
All right.
Sorry.
Are we going to learn about... Here, I'll do my coffee one. You're right. Your pour over is better. What did we do different?
So we only changed... When you're testing coffee, like anything in your life, only change one thing so that you know what you did.
One variable.
And the one variable I changed is how fine we grind the coffee.
Was yours finer?
It was finer. It was fine to have more extraction, so it's a darker flavor profile.
Yeah, it's better. Okay, volcanic soil.
Volcanic.
So, I'm beginning. Volcanic soil and its benefit for coffee. Essentially, volcanic soil is just soil on crack. Like, I love that. It's full of so many different elements, and it's like readily in the form in which the plants are able to use it as well. Hang on.
Bioavailable.
Yes, thank you. So it's full of elements like potassium, magnesium, phosphorus, calcium, iron, sodium, sulfur, silicon, and there's still more. I saw copper, I saw iron, a little bit of everything. And they're all very great, but You're
doing great. You're doing really good. I'm enjoying You're shooting off bullets over here.
Okay.
Points.
Okay, and so all of those things are what helps not just coffee plants, all plants to grow. So the benefit of volcanic soil for coffee in particular is not for any reason that it's good for other things to grow. I know that made no sense, but do you know what I mean?
So
Volcanic soil is just great.
Great for everything.
It's great for everything,
It's
not
not
just
just
coffee. Correct.
Yeah, but you're not going to be like, oh, I got a zucchini from volcanic
Soil, blah, blah, blah. I mean, you could. If you're interested in zucchinis and passionate about them, you could. Anyway.
Yeah, no, I'm good. I like coffee more.
Readily chemically separated into elemental components. Oh, it was so close.
Almost there.
Readily...
Bioavailable components.
Yes. And the ash itself acts as a natural fertilizer, and it's also, because of the ash as well, it's really good at holding water. It's very, very good at keeping moist.
Don't. You did it.
Okay, so I wrote down just a few of the elements that are and why they're good and beneficial for plants, because I'm not going to go through all of them, but I picked a random few
Lame. I'm just
big
kidding.
ones because I only have 4 minutes.
Yeah, go. Yeah,
So I have magnesium, which is magnesium is the central core of the chlorophyll molecule. And we know that the chlorophyll is very important for plants
because
it houses
the
mitochondria, which is the powerhouse of the cell. So it also helps transport carbohydrates to growing tissues like the roots, like buds, like shoots, all of that fun stuff. And then potassium's kind of the big guy. Potassium's the very important guy. It helps with root growth, drought resistance, turgor. I haven't used that word in a very long time.
What is turgor?
Stiffness?
Rigidity.
Do you like?
Allows it to stay.
Yep, turgor. And photosynthesis. It also helps with fruit quality, sugar accumulation, acidity, size, appearance, color. Literally everything. Potassium. We love potassium. And then lastly, I got, what did I write down? For sulfur. Sulfur is a macronutrient that helps the plant create amino acids, proteins, and chlorophyll. So basically, sulfur is what helps the plant make its own food.
Interesting. And it's the poopy smelling.
It's a poopy smelling one. Yeah. I only had one other thing, which is that volcanic soil has high subsoil macroporosity, which basically means it's... Actually, I've already said this. I'm remembering now. I've already said this.
It's bioavailable.
No, it's really good at holding water.
Ah, great. You know, what's very interesting is that the things that you're talking about that these nutrients do for the coffee, it's pretty similar to what it does for us, like magnesium and potassium.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, it might not help us
grow our roots,
but it helps us contract muscles.
Yeah.
It helps us sleep. It helps us build ATP.
It does make sense.
Yeah, and
it's like we're all living things.
I'm going to be completely honest with you. I'm an individual that takes hot baths instead of going, because I don't have a sauna at home. So I take hot baths. And I was sitting there last night and I was like, you know, it's so interesting. It's like plants are going into saunas and doing cold plunges. They do. Plants do. And the crazy thing is that I'm finally connecting that we're just like plants.
We are!
Because if we expose ourselves to extreme environments, our body starts to produce more ATP so that we can be more resilient. And I'm just like, wow, the world is connected. It all came together as one while I'm sitting there.
Again, as the Germans say,
sweating.
For geography, Erdkunde.
Erdkunde.
Just, it feels right.
It feels right.
It feels like a right word.
Yeah, it is right. And then you start thinking about how everything is connected, and then the next thing you know,
you're spiraling a little bit.
But
that's why I require here at the
shitting
Beanyard, if you are ever employed, just so you know, this is a rule that I have made for the staff, and I enforce it any day that I possibly can. we have mandatory photosynthesis time where you have to go outside for at least 2 minutes and stand in the sun.
Yeah, and if it's snowing, you still have to do it.
I don't do that. When it's cold, there's photosynthesis time. You guys hibernating.
No, we're exposing our baristas to extreme environments so they produce more ATP.
Yeah, because we love ATP.
ATP. All right.
Okay, tell me about Teddy.
So it wasn't actually supposed to be specifically Teddy Roosevelt, but...
Tell me about your favorite president.
Yeah. But I chose my favorite president. And Teddy Roosevelt has actually been my favorite president since I was in like 4th grade. And it stays. I maintain that Teddy Roosevelt is still my favorite president, and here's why. First, youngest president ever voted into office at 42 years old.
That's okay.
What the fuck happened, America? Like, we're sitting here with what?
Double the
Twice
age.
the age? What the fuck? Okay, sorry. That's a rant. But
passionate.
Young. He was young.
He was a youngin'.
He was a youngin'. And before he became president, he served in the military. And not like a general sitting in the desk like, well, you do this and do that, blah, blah. He served on the actual battlefield, and he led the group called Rough Riders, which is fucking awesome. In the Battle of San Juan Hill, he defeated the enemy, which was the Spanish. And not only did he defeat the enemy, he became a national war hero, which maybe, to people's discretion on what they think is awesome, but that's awesome, in my opinion. And then along with that, he was the first American ever to win the Nobel Peace Prize because he negotiated the peace treaty for the Russo-Japanese War, something like that. I might have the countries wrong, but he negotiated the end of a war.
Hell yeah, Teddy.
Hell yeah, Teddy. Along with that, he had asthma since he was a kid.
Hell yeah, Teddy.
Asthma since he was a kid, but he continually participated in sports, including boxing, judo, swimming, horseback riding, hunting, hiking, all of it.
All of it.
He did all of it. And not only did he do all of it, he did that while he was still in the White House. He continued to box at the White House consistently after becoming president. And he only stopped boxing because he took a hit so hard that it disconnected his retina, leaving him half blind in the White House.
Someone beat the president so much
in the fucking White House, he got beaten up. And not only is that the best thing, the next best thing is that when he was running for president, someone attempted to assassinate him. And so they shot him in the chest.
But they weren't successful.
And not only did he refuse to go to the hospital after being shot, he continued to speak for 90 minutes and then ripped open his shirt and said, "It takes more than that to kill a bull moose." Absolute madman. Of course, he had a 50-page like document and a metal glass case that stopped the bullet.
But
it didn't stop the bullet. The bullet stayed in his chest for the rest of his life. But he continued to speak. And then after 90 minutes, he's like, "Okay, now you can take me to the hospital." They deemed it more dangerous to take the bullet out, by the way. That's what
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, wow.
Go ahead.
I love Teddy Roosevelt already.
Yeah. Okay, so not only that, Teddy Roosevelt was part of the Progressive Party, which not only had a lot of social reform and was anti-monopoly, which is anti-big corporations. He also was for women's suffrage and was extremely progressive for that time and day and age.
For that time.
But let's not stop there. Teddy Roosevelt was probably one of the most famous conservationists in U.S. history because he not only saved 230 million acres by creating national forests, national monuments, but he created the Antiquities Act. And he also is the one that allowed for national forests to be available in the first place. He created national forests. And he did this because he realized that there is beauty in America, and to allow for corporations to take everything and strip America for what it's worth was a travesty. He created the Antiquities Act to ensure that presidents would be able to save land and to preserve the environment.
I love that.
Teddy Roosevelt, probably the best president ever. The only reason why people find Teddy Roosevelt to be a conflicting individual is because as a president, he carried a really big stick. Like, he used his executive powers,
he did his job.
He did. Well, that's the thing, is that people have that idea of like 3 branches of government in the United States. Like, you have the courts, you have the Senate, Congress, whatever, and then you have the executive. And he was legitimately just overpowering everything.
Okay.
He's like, fuck all you all, we're doing this. And like, he used his executive power to just like shove national parks through.
Okay.
So, from one perspective, if you're anti-big government and you don't like the president having any involvement in things that you're doing in your day-to-day life, like saying, hey, Yellowstone is Yellowstone now.
Yeah.
I get it.
Also, he's Robin Williams.
What? Oh, yeah, in the museum.
Night of the Museum.
Night of
it's
the
the
Museum,
only
yeah.
thing I know about Teddy Roosevelt. Not anymore.
Yeah.
Not
he
anymore.
He also was an avid hunter, like huge hunter. Like, he'd go to Africa to hunt and all that kind of stuff. But he always had in mind, it's like, if there's not proper stewardship of the land and of the animals, then what are you going to be able to hunt in the future? Like, what are you going to be able to participate in the future? It's like,
So
if you don't preserve
he
it,
was able to think about the future in his decision making. That's
And
crazy.
The other thing is that he was extremely balanced in his approach. But that's the thing. As a president, like, super level-headed somehow after being like punched in the face in the White House and having his retina disconnected, and he was able to, do things as a president that to me was very admirable.
That was very
that
admirable.
a leader should do.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, America does not always vote in presidents that have that kind of moral fortitude.
Yes.
Is that right? I don't know. Either way, then you have presidents that take what Teddy Roosevelt did with his executive power, and then you're like, oh shit, like, yeah, maybe that isn't the best thing. Like, maybe he should have had some sort of checks and balances.
Yeah.
But fuck yeah, I love Teddy Roosevelt.
Teddy's
like,
cool.
It's the kind of thing where it's like, honestly, because of, like, just respectable, like, extremely respectable.
He just seems like a decent guy.
Had fucking asthma and was like, you know what, I'm gonna box some.
I'm a box
bitches.
and shit.
Yeah, and his like nickname was also the Bull Moose, which was also the what is it? It was the mascot. It was the mascot for the Progressive Party, the Bull Moose Party.
Nice.
I miss the old days, man.
But back when Teddy was president.
Back when Teddy was president.
We all do.
We probably had terrible hygiene. People were dying at the age of 40.
Yeah, I wouldn't be here right now.
Yeah, you wouldn't.
I wouldn't be allowed to be here at all.
No, you wouldn't. You would have been.
I'd be at home
Yeah.
with my 17 children, washing their clothes.
And I would be that misogynistic man.
Yeah.
And not even know that I was.
And so many other things. But
there's so many other things.
We
but
have
women's
national
suffrage
parks.
Was part of Teddy Roosevelt's platform.
Yeah.
He wanted women to have a vote. He wanted equal rights. He was a man of the people. Sorry,
You love Teddy.
I just remembered as a kid being like, dude, this guy's awesome.
Yeah.
Like, this is really cool.
And I do feel like you just very excitedly gave me like a history report.
Yeah.
For Teddy Roosevelt.
100%.
And I love it.
Yeah. No, he was really good. And then I do remember I had arguments with other people in the past of like who their favorite presidents were.
And they're all wrong unless it's Teddy.
Not entirely that they were wrong, but they were like, well, Teddy Roosevelt was bad for this, this, and this. And I was like, oh, for political reasons.
Every president is good and bad for certain things.
Except for lame duck presidents. They're just kind of like the ones that are like, oh.
There's no president that didn't do bad. That was a lot of negatives. That was like a triple negative.
Yeah, triple negative. We have digressed so far.
Yes, so far.
Actually, we're still on topic, but we're like going a little too far.
Do y'all want to learn about breathing? And does the amount of breaths you take in a minute impact your health and longevity?
You take.
Every step you take. Anyway, in short.
You gotta time it. Yeah, there we go.
In short, yes. So, to further expand upon that, breathing, specifically like slow, deep, intentional, I guess, breathing is kind of what we're talking about. So the average person takes, did you just Google it?
No.
Okay.
I Googled something else.
Okay. The average person takes 12 to 20 breaths per minute.
Mm-hmm.
And the deeper the breaths and so like the fewer breaths that you're taking, but not like shallow ones, like, that doesn't count. I'm talking like take big deep breaths. That is, yes, it will impact your longevity, not as in it's gonna like add years and years and years. I guess, I don't know how long it adds or doesn't take away from your life expectancy, but it is because it helps reduce your heart rate. It's making your heart work less.
Which, as we know from last episode,
is directly correlated with your lifespan. Mm-hmm. So, if we take what we learned last week, which is your heart has about 1 billion beats in it before it kicks out. And if you're doing like intentional deep breathing, breathing exercises, like making sure that you're oxygenating yourself properly and fully, it can reduce your heart rate by up to about 2.41 beats per minute.
Which over the the span of your life,
it's a lot.
That's a lot of beats per minute.
Yeah.
Starting from today.
Starting from today, if you only breathe like this for the rest of your life.
I'm gonna do the math while you keep going.
Just like that. It can reduce your heart rate. And what it also does is, so because, therefore, and so forth, whatnot, and on and on.
Mm-hmm. And on and on.
No. So, let me get back on track. When you are breathing deeply and intentionally and doing breathing exercises and breath work and all of that stuff, what it's doing is increasing your blood oxygen level. So it means that that's what is happening is you're making less work for your heart because your blood oxygen level is higher. That means you're getting more oxygen to your body with less heartbeats. And that's the benefit of that. Breath work can also reduce stress and improve mental health. Basically, breathe, but well. I feel like people don't maybe know how to breathe well.
Most people don't. No, you're right.
Don't breathe into your belly. Breathe belly breath.
Also, don't breathe through your mouth.
Oh.
Actually, honestly, it's legitimately been proven that if you breathe through your mouth consistently, it causes hypertension.
Interesting.
Because the science of breathing is so cool. But your nose is a filter, and it is the most efficient way to get air into your system at a normal pace. Like if you're sprinting, breathe through your mouth, whatever. But you get just as much air from here as you do from here.
It does feel better to breathe through your nose.
How often do you mouth breathe?
Not only when I'm sick.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I actually refuse to breathe through my mouth now, period.
Even if your nose is...
I just sit there and just...
Sniff some peppermint.
Yep. And then just shove my finger in. I'm just kidding.
Shove it right up in there.
No, I think breathing is really cool.
Breathing is cool, and it scares me.
So I'm going to go ahead and say, if you're able to slow your heart rate down by 2.41 beats per minute, you're saving 46,867,752 beats for your entire life.
That's a lot of beats.
And that's me at 33 saying I'm going to die at 70. So technically I could probably get, I don't know, how many is that?
That's so many maths.
Okay, so 46, let's divide that by, I don't know. How many beats are there in a year? How many beats do you have in a year? 365 times. You know what, fuck it, I'm not gonna do it.
Okay, thank you. That was gonna hurt my brain a lot.
By the way, I was talking about it last episode, but William Howard Taft was the fattest president in the United States.
That made sense. What did I watch? It was a really stupid.
Fat president.
Oh my God, what was I watching? It was really dumb. And there was a man that was taken to the White House, and he was naked, so he was given Taft's. Oh, it's the new, I started watching that Pop-Tart movie that came out on Netflix. I didn't finish it. I didn't like it. Sorry, guys. It was not.
It's about Pop-Tarts?
It's about the creation of Pop-Tarts, like Kellogg's versus Post. It's got a lot of famous people in it.
Yeah. Well, it's famous for us.
Yes.
Gen Z probably doesn't.
It's very stylish. But anyway, there's a scene where they all are flown to the president's office because their idea for Pop-Tarts is so amazing. And one of the people is naked for some reason, and so they give him Tafts, and he's like, there's a half-eaten Three Musketeers bar in the pocket still.
What year was Taft? What the fuck?
Oh, 0% accurate, dude. He was flown to the White House nude, and you're genuinely questioning if he would have had that kind of chocolate bar in his pocket.
Big fat guy.
Big guy.
That's all I'm thinking of.
Big guy.
Man, I'm just like sitting here thinking, it's like, so for me, I've realized I'm not entirely too concerned about the politics of an individual. I'm concerned about their moral character and whether or not they're a good example of what a person should be. And so when I see the presidential options that we've had as of recent, no one is a good candidate, in my opinion. No one. Geriatric, old. What has happened in America? We need to give the reins back to people that actually have
brain cognition powers.
Youth. 42 years old.
42, yeah.
We can beat that.
I don't understand why, like, they should be retired. They should be retired.
100% retired.
Their expiration date
went right by. Went right by.
And they're still...
We're currently being fed sour milk.
It's chunky.
Sorry, this is the most political this podcast will ever get, but man, like...
But our president's what, 70 or 80 right now? 77 or...
I think Biden is like 80 something.
80, 81.
You know what? It doesn't matter. Just look at it. Just watch anything on TV. You watch him or Trump, either one of them, it's like they're past their expiration.
They're past.
They are the shriveled grapes in the package that you have avoided eating, but you keep on seeing and looking at.
They're the raisins in the trail mix.
100%. Or it's that one orange that you get in those like cuties bag that is always moldy.
Ooh,
always.
yeah.
Fuck.
Okay, what are our questions?
What are our questions? I'm gonna go look at it really fast because I do remember that I had a question, and we actually did this, but I completely forgot it because I got stuck on president.
I could also tell you what it was.
Do you?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. Well, I've got my question because I remember now.
What is your coffee question for me?
My coffee question for you is: does quality equipment actually matter for brewing coffee?
Does quality?
The quality.
The
quality equipment do anything for good thing?
Say your question one more time, sorry.
Does quality equipment actually matter to brewing good coffee?
Brewing good coffee. Okay, and my question for you is, can you tamp your espresso too hard? Can you tamp it too hard?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, and what's your non-coffee question?
Non-coffee question. I would like to know how nuclear power plants work.
How do nuclear power... Honestly, I've always wondered this, so thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm just gonna watch a lot of Simpsons. But only the episodes
legitimately so wrong.
Only the episodes where Homer's...
The only thing they got right is those smokestacks. Or they're not even smokestacks.
Steam. I do know it's steam. That's the one thing I know. Work. Okay. And then my question for you, give me a second to sip some coffee because I know what it is, but I've forgotten one of the two words that the question is.
I was going to write down a second to sip coffee was the question. And I was like, oops, that's definitely not it.
Can you explain quantum displacement? I believe is what it's called. Quantum... I'm 90% sure it's displacement. If I remember that it's a different word, I'll let you know.
I think if you put quantum in front of anything, it actually kind of works.
Okay, cool.
Like quantum coffee, there's an infinite possibilities of coffee.
That's crazy. All I know is that I saw a brief mention of it. It won a Nobel, some scientists won a Nobel Prize for it a couple years ago, and they just basically proved that the world is not what we think it is. And so let's learn about that at 5 a.m. Why not, kids?
And I'm just sitting here thinking about how we're like plants. Put me in the cold, put me in the hot, and I'm gonna have lots of sugars in my body.
I feel like displacement's not the right word. I'll remember it.
Yeah. Anyways, Thank you all for joining.
Thank you all.
And I'll let you do the exit because I do it all the time.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Literally, please comment questions. Even if it comes to you at 2 a.m., we'll be awake. I will. Anyway, thank you. And am I gonna do this?
Goodbye.
Am I gonna be the one to
Bye.
walk up to the camera this
Bye-bye.
time? Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Bye bye. Bye bye. How do you turn it off?